Well, hello all. I think it's getting around spooky season. What do we need around spooky season? Another episode of 6 Degrees of Halloween and Other Crazy Coincidences. Let's head into it.
Why is this movie known as the deadliest movie ever made? Antrum is a horror movie about two siblings who accidentally dig a hole to hell, and it's said to have caused over 50 deaths for people who watched it. There's even a legal notice before the movie starts, telling people to watch at their own risk, because many people have passed away mysteriously after watching this movie, including film festival managers who received it, and entire theaters have collapsed. Like in 1988 when Antrum was shown in Budapest, the theater mysteriously caught on fire, killing 56 people as it collapsed. So everyone thought the film reel would have burned as well, except it stayed mysteriously intact. Then in 1993, Antrum was shown in San Francisco. Audience members reported feeling very anxious, which eventually resulted in a riot as people realized they were locked inside the venue. This tragedy also unfortunately caused multiple deaths. That's how Antrum gained a reputation for being a real-life cursed movie. Let me know, does the dark history of Antrum make you want to see it more? Or will you never go near this movie? And follow for more.
Hi guys. Sorry about the lighting, but normally I film at nighttime, but not today. I was gonna film outside, but the kids are out there and I don't want words getting said by the kids that could. Anyway, I was having discussion with the ladies about horror movies, and it got me to thinking about a few years back. Come here. When I did a video called 6 Degrees of Halloween and Other Crazy Coincidences. So, I thought, maybe this is something I need to revisit. And boy, did I find some stuff. And of course, a few things that I had forgotten over the years. So, anyway, so with all these crazy coincidences and celebrities and all this kind of crazy stuff. The first thing is, and it didn't get in my first video that I had done, but actor Moe from the Three Stooges, I'm spacing his name, I'll find it and put it up here in the caption. But his wife was related to Harry Houdini. I believe Wise was their name before they changed it, and her name was Helen Schomburger. Probably pronouncing that wrong. But anyway, Harry Houdini died on Halloween 1926, and his cousin Helen died on Halloween 1975. Actor John Candy, born on Halloween. I know, right? And interestingly enough, with the passing of Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince, if you are a Prince fan, you already know about his song Let's Go Crazy, where he talked about the elevator, and of course, unfortunately, he passed away on an elevator. But a little known fact is when he filmed part of the location where he filmed the movie Purple Rain, the club known as First Avenue. It was formerly a bus station. And a woman was in the bus station and took her own life in one of the upstairs bathrooms. So the set of Purple Rain did have some paranormal activity. Some paranormal activity has been recorded up in that area of the club. So there's another crazy coincidence. And then, of course, we're going to get back to the movie Poltergeist and the whole Poltergeist series. Another thing, when it came to the death of Prince when he passed away on April 21st, which was the day that he recorded the song Sometimes It Snows in April, where he was talking about, if you're a Prince fan, it was featured in Under the Cherry Moon. But if you're a Prince fan, he was in the song, he talks about mourning the death of one of his friends. Sorry about the crappy editing today. But I did forget to mention, when it came to, because we're gonna go into the poltergeist segment of this. There was a legal issue. Steven Spielberg could not direct the movie, but he could produce it, because there was a whole conflict with movie companies. But Drew Barrymore did audition for the part of Carol Ann. Of course, he said no, because he was really involved with the whole process. And so he said no, and then Carol Ann ended up playing the little sister in E.T. I guess that's kind of a good thing for her, given. Anyway, so that was part of that. And music, I'll just save that for the next video.
This is Cheeseman Park in Denver, Colorado. It used to be a state-owned cemetery back in the late 1800s. It was not well maintained and the city decided to dig the bodies out and relocate them. They hired someone to lead the relocations. But the greedy contractor who was hired decided to only move some of the bodies. That way he could keep more of the profits. After being found out, the city cut ties with him and began to build without relocating the rest of the corpses. To this day, bodies are still being found, and it's estimated that around 2,000 bodies are still buried under what is now the park. Some people who visit at night claim of hearing voices in the distance. A lady also claims to have been laying down on the grass when she felt the weight of something pushing her head back onto the floor, making it impossible for her to get up.
So I happened to come across a few things, and I will find the video and link it, because it was interviews from the actual actors, who were talking about what is known now as the poltergeist curse. And there were a few things that I didn't happen to come across, but did happen to come up in some of the videos, that some of the actors and whatnot had mentioned. The poltergeist curse happened through all three of the movies. Did do the video talking about real skeletons in the movie, thinking, from what I understood, it was in the first poltergeist. No, it was actually the real cadavers were in the second poltergeist. Apparently they had ordered some skeletons and somehow some actual corpses were mailed to them, which is where Mr. Sampson had actually went in and performed the exorcism. Of course, he died after the movie. Because of the director change, one of the directors for one of the other poltergeist movies had a psychic on, and was paid, and a letter of recommendation written for her. And of course, she predicted the whole situation with actor Julian Beck, who was actually in stage 4 cancer when he was filming the second poltergeist. And she did predict his death. And after he had passed, she actually contacted the director with a message for his wife. And both Zelda Rubin, I can't pronounce her last name. The lady that played Tangi. I want to say Rubin. Anyway, I'll find her name and put that in the captions so that I don't butcher it. Both she, Dominic Dunn, and Steenburgen, the actress who played the mother, reported paranormal experiences prior to the movie. Both ladies had some paranormal experiences, and Zelda actually had a dream about her dog, and her dog running. And during the filming of the first movie, her dog actually passed away. During the third movie, they were taking photos for, I I guess it's something that they do for cataloging when they're making movies. And as they were taking pictures of Zelda, some sort of type of mist or fog or whatever happened to start forming as they were taking the shot of the picture. A few minutes later, there was a phone call, and Zelda was immediately called away from production because her mother had passed. So her mother passed away during the filming of Poltergeist 3. Also, who passed away during the filming of Poltergeist 3, one of the engineers had passed away, found dead in the lobby. So, this movie, I'm telling you, or movie series, I'm telling you, it's crazy. So, another thing is that during the filming of Poltergeist 3, it was filmed at was known as the John Hancock Building. I guess the director never bothered to do research. So the property in which the John Hancock Building currently stands was purchased, or allegedly purchased, by a man named George Strader, who was a Civil War veteran. Apparently he had a steamboat, and during some type of freak storm, the boat was basically either lifted, knocked off course onto a sandbar, and he claimed the land. I guess the land was already claimed, but he built a shack on the land and was selling off different plots and properties for trash and different things. Well, come to find out, he never owned the property. The property was already previously owned. There was a big court battle. He was evicted from the property, had to go live on a houseboat somewhere, and he died of pneumonia. And as he lay there dying, he cursed the land. So I guess the neighborhood around that at one point was called Streeterville. Funny fact about Poltergeist: if you know anything about Cheeseman Park in Colorado, that was part of the basis of the movie, along with different phobias and such that the actors had. But that whole situation, and we'll get into that probably the next video. But that was part of the basis for the movie. Basically, well, I'll just save it. I'll just save it. I may come right back and do it because I don't know about my time limit. So, he cursed the land, and the John Hancock Building was the construction had started in 1964. It was finished in like 1968, 69, something around that. It was mentioned in Anton LaVey's writings called The Notebook, with connections to demonic activity and links to the Satanic Temple. The other thing is that there was something mentioned in the video, and I couldn't find any information to support this because I've been looking, but it was mentioned in this video, and I will link it in a description, that 109 people had passed during the construction. I couldn't find that. But I did find that the Hancock Building is part of the Chicago Ghost Tours, partly because of the fact that of all of the paranormal things that surround the film. So I guess we would begin at the beginning with a lot of mysterious deaths. In 1979, a lady named Lorraine Kowalski got into a rather heated argument with her boyfriend when they went out on separate evenings. According to Marshall Berlin, the boyfriend, she had threatened to take herself out. Because the argument got so volatile, he retreated to the bathroom, came out, and found her gone and the window smashed. She had fallen from the 90th floor. No charges were filed on him, although I don't see how he could not hear. But anyway, because she had threatened suicide, and due to her 130-pound weight, they said it was reasonable. And she did fall 90 stories to the street. A radio station employee somehow fell from the 97th floor in 1975. From there, and in 1978, a woman shot a man in her apartment. And of course, he didn't make it. In 2002, which is really weird because the actors Scarlett and I forget the lady. I'll look her name up. They had a scene where they were filming from scaffolding, and she and Scarlett had just a really bad feeling about the scaffolding. 2002, scaffolding fell from the building and fell on people. And of course, some people died due to that. And also, actor Chris Farley passed away due to an overdose in that building. He had an apartment. I believe it was on the 60th floor. 10 years after Poltergeist was filmed. And some other really weird stuff. During the filming, an engineer and a maintenance man almost were taken out during the scenes in the garage, and some of the extras went in and saved their lives when the fire, one of the scenes with fire got out of control. And because of all of the crazy coincidences with the first and second, a lot of the Heather O'Rourke and Zelda were the only two actors that they could get to film the third movie. Of course, Heather had been sick for some time, and unbeknownst, I didn't realize this, but being the fact that her name was Carol Ann in the movie, she did pass away before the movie was finished. They actually wanted to scrap the movie, and the company said no, money. And of course, when I talked about the other movie, Carol Ann Lund died during the filming of Bluebirds of Happiness. So, that was a crazy thought. And of course, Dominic Dunn could not finish the series because the night before Halloween, she was taken out by her boyfriend. And it's crazy because she was set to film the TV series V, which oddly enough was Robert Englund's breaking role. Of course, we all know him as forever be known as Mr. Freddy Krueger. The movie also starred Mark Singer. Now, Mark Singer was also in The Beastmaster, and they began filming in '81, shortly before Twilight Zone, the movie, was being filmed. Of course, the accident concerning it's in my first video, the accident concerning the actor and the two young children that was filmed. Or not filmed, but that accident happened during the filming of the movie. But they did not wrap up filming until 1982, and one of the scenes from the movie was shot in that same pool. If you've ever seen The Beastmaster, where there's a scene in a like a pond or a pool, and in the same thing as Twilight Zone. Well, so Dominic Dunn was set to do V, which he also started. But what's really crazy is some of the actors from Beastmaster, because they weren't done filming before Twilight Zone was done. But Mark Singer lost his wife due to cancer. One of the extras in the movie was actually David Carradine's wife at the time, and of course, David Carradine died passed away due to some little crazy circumstances with his death. actor John Amos, who passed away last year, kind of crazy with his circumstances. He had been dead a month before it became public because some of his children could not find him. He had passed away, and his son had had him cremated, and he was found. The ashes were found on his son's dresser, but he had passed away around the same time as the guy that played Darth Vader. I'll get his name too because it's escaping me. And I'm trying to watch this dog, so my notes aren't here. But the guy that played Darth Vader also did Conan the Barbarian, and they were all filming around the same time. And then Tanya Roberts, who played the actress Kiri, she passed away due to a UTI infection. They had pronounced her dead on the way to the hospital, and so a whole media thing went out. And because of COVID, so her boyfriend had called the hospital, and they said, "Oh no, she didn't pass away." And then she ended up, and all the media places filmed a retraction, and then she ended up passing away a few hours after that. So that's kind of a little bit of a crazy coincidence. And another crazy thing about David Carradine was, after his passing, it was around 2009, 2010, his last movie, The Knights Templar, didn't come out until 2013.
This zoo has thousands of bodies buried underneath of it. In 1868, the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago was built on land that was once a cemetery. The wooden markers used as headstones burned to the ground in 1871, leaving no way to identify the dead that were buried there. Visitors have supposedly seen people walking around in Victorian clothing, including a ghost of a woman in the lion house. It has also been reported that visitors would see somebody in the bathroom mirror and turn around to see that nobody was actually there. Also in the lion house, voices have been heard and captured on EVP devices. While the zoo was being built, they did attempt to relocate graves, but possibly more than 10,000 still remain today.
I looked it up. It was on the tip of my tongue. James Earl Jones. But what's interesting is that Mark Singer, James Earl Jones, and John Amos all had roles in the filming of the original Roots TV series. So I guess that's how, well, the whole 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, so that's why we're doing 6 Degrees of Halloween. Guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.